bucket full of water, and some pantyhose full of compost. That's all you need to make the simplest and easiest compost tea out there. Let's go back to organics.
Hey guys, I told you I would show you a safer way to make compost tea. So, rather than brewing it with molasses and just giving bacteria the perfect environment to run wild and nobody has any idea what bacteria would be growing, instead we're going to do it a different way. We're more going to steep the tea. So what we're going to do is I've just got compost. It's just stuck into a nylon, and this is water. This is secondary water. That's water that comes from a reservoir that's just up the canyon from my house. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this straight into the water and just leave it for like an hour or two. And I'm not going to add anything else to the water. I'm not going to put any sugar in it. I'm not going to add anything else. I'm a fan of just using whatever you have. So if you don't have the algae or any of the other like little additives that people use, then just use what you have. Well, all I have is compost, so that's all I'm going to use. And I'm just going to put it in the water, let it sit for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, stir it around a few times just to kind of mix up the water and make sure I get as much of the water soluble nutrients as I can out of here. So what I'm going to do is I've already loaded this with compost, and I'm just going to set this down into the water, and then I'm just going to grab the handle here and kind of tie it up so that it's floating and not sinking to the bottom. And then if I want, I'm just going to squeeze it a little bit, and you'll notice that the water is changing colors. And that's just the different nutrients and the tannic acid and stuff, all the tannins coming out of the compost, and it's going to change this water color to a much more dark. It's going to look more like beer, except it's not going to be frothy. Other people's compost tea is frothy. That's because they're putting molasses in there and aerating it and doing various things. So I'm not going to do any of that. So anyways, I'm going to let this sit for like an hour or two, and then I'll give you guys an update of what it looks like when I'm ready to use it. Alright guys, so it's been an hour and a half, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use this compost tea. So I'm just going to grab these pair of nylons out of here. And I'm just going to kind of squeeze out any of the extra juices. You can see how brown, see how it's getting on my thumb and stuff. That's a lot of the tannins, and that's actually good. If you're using compost tea in like an aquaponic system or a hydroponic system, like I'm going to use it in my hydroponic totes, it will help to black out the water and make it so that algae can't grow. But it's very, very nutritious to the plants. So, as you can see, there's still a bunch of compost in here. This has been essentially deprived of most of the water-soluble nutrients, so it doesn't have any of those anymore, but it's still half-decent compost. So if you wanted to, you could add this to like a potted plant or put it in your garden, or you could put it back in your compost heap and just let it mix back into the regular compost. But I'm going to wring out this other one, and then I'm going to add this to my hydroponic setup that I built about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. Once I get this other sock out here, I'll just kind of flush my hands through this water and kind of show you just how dark this stuff is. I mean, it really looks like chocolate milk almost. You can dilute this more if you plan to apply this like straight to plants. I plan on putting it inside of my hydroponic, so it's going to already have a large amount of water to mix with. But you can see just how dark that is. You can't really see through it. There's really no solids in there. But it has no smell. It smells like water. So it doesn't smell pungent, doesn't smell like virtually anything. So that's good compost tea, and it's safer than putting a bubbler in there and putting sugars and having all kinds of bacteria going crazy in here. So I'd rather brew it like this, just kind of steep it, let the stuff sit for a little while, and then use that. Because the other way can just create all kinds of bacteria problems that you don't want to deal with. As a matter of fact, this morning we just saw another outbreak of E. coli in, I believe it was a breakfast cereal. So anyways, just hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys soon.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more organic gardening tips and how-tos.